Right, Chelsea Football Club are champions of the world, which means we can now attract any player in the world. And in today's episode, myself and the big dog, channel fan favourite, Mr. Josh Aveste, who does do a little bit of cheating on me from time to time with Benson and the rest of them, but we'll forgive him, is here to discuss all things transfers. What are you thinking? Are we going to be doing even more business? Because obviously we have brought in the likes of Leon Delap, the likes of João Pedro and Jamie Gittins, who we're obviously yet to see in a Chelsea shirt. But we have raised some money with the sales of Noni Madueke, Kepa Arrizabalaga, and Petrovic. Obviously and Petrovic, which we'll speak about in today's episode, and obviously the financial implications that come from winning the Club World Cup. So, unfortunately, for those who don't want to hear this, turns out Chelsea can go and spend again this summer, as we did last summer, as we did the summer before, and as we probably will for the rest of the summers, for everyone's lives, all of your lives. So, what are we thinking?
First of all, I just want to say I've been on loan to other parties and not a permanent transfer.
Oh, yeah, one of them, yeah. Maybe I'll make you go and train with the kids.
You would love that. It is funny, isn't it, by the way, that they get so angry about this. We just pay our way out of all of these things as well. Like, we've just got this massive European sanction, the biggest in the Champions League right now in terms of all the people that are selling it. And we just go, yeah, we'll just pay 60 million quid.
Is that what it was, 60 mil?
Yeah, apparently.
And why
so.
was it?
Basically, we have overspent the cost cap. So you're only allowed to spend in Europe 70% of your income on transfers every year. So we overspent that. In the UK is a different system. In the Premier League, it's a different FFP system. And so we can sell the women's team in the car parks. But in Europe, they don't count. So that's why we overspent in Europe.
Right. Oh, okay.
So that's why. Now,
so UEFA's not into women's football?
No, not at all.
Not pointing any fingers,
fingers,
throwing any shades. Yeah,
it's funny, isn't it? Because I think a lot of people were really worried about that 60 million number. A lot of people said that we had to sell people that were within the Champions League squads to recoup that 60 million to then be able to register new players. But
how's that? Because we haven't registered the Champions League squad yet.
It doesn't. No, from last season. As in, sorry, the European squad that we put last season.
Right.
We had to sell players from that squad. Now, that isn't the case. Basically, what we've done already by earning the money from the Club World Cup and also selling the players that we sold, as you say, we're in a really good financial position.
Mate, I'm telling you now, yeah, if we get rid of 50% of the players that we want to sell, that we should be selling, 50%, like, we're fine. We're fine. And I'm telling you now, we're fine anyway. There was one point, right, in January when, more so than ever, I was really, really like, do you know what? I've done more than doubt this ownership. Like, I've openly criticised the ownership at times. I've also said, you know, that there's been positive things and whatever, and maybe some of the videos that got a bit of a negative backlash when we were talking about the ownership, maybe some of those will be, what's the word? Not more relevant now, but, you know, maybe time will have aged some of those.
Can I just say, you and I were under, I don't know if you remember this moment in the season last season, but you and I were under a lot of pressure to go to a protest outside the stadium. Yep. And I remember us both saying in a video, we don't want to be involved with that protest. And we didn't want to go and stand outside Stamford Bridge. I didn't want to do it. And I was there that night and I purposely went nowhere near that protest. And I'm glad we didn't now. Because I think a lot of people that went to that protest look a bit silly.
Do you know how much stress that gave me?
Why?
Do you not remember at that time?
I do remember it. You were under a lot of pressure though.
Mate, at that time, right, when there was the protest going on, I was, and these lot wouldn't know this, and I just admit this now, I was texting you and I was saying, I'm gonna fucking jack this in, mate. It's pissing me off. Like I'm gonna stop. And I mean, as in like stop doing Chelsea YouTube, basically.
What an awful set of affairs that would have been.
I know. But I was getting so frustrated that I was having like my support for the club called into question just because
you weren't gonna go to a protest.
I weren't going to go to a protest that was organised on how many days' notice? I think it was 3 or 4 days' notice maximum.
I think it might have been a week before, but only because it was like a Tuesday game or something. It was a weird time, basically.
So to my memory, comment section will tell me if I'm wrong. To my memory, it was a few days notice, right? He'd been given a few days, right? Yeah. And I thought, okay, best way I can do this is I'm not going to the game anyway, so let me put out a video, like my response to the protests, and I spoke about the good and bad of it. I gave historical, like, you know,
precedents.
Situations where protests have worked, where they haven't worked, and whatnot. Ultimately, my main thing was like, what would the protest actually be about? Like, I get it's about the ownership.
Who is it for? We actually discussed that in a video as well. You and I, we actually said, like, who are you even protesting?
I was getting a lot of hateful messages. So I'm not on about like, you know, when someone doesn't agree. Say I go out there and I go, I think we should sell Axel Disasi. Someone doesn't agree with me and says, you have no idea what you're talking about. Axel Disasi's whatever. That's not a hateful message. That's fine. Completely fine. Let me like make that very clear. I was getting inbox messages from like Chelsea fans questioning me and whatever, and you've got a platform you can be, and I was getting I was under so much pressure at the time anyway. I was getting so stressed of it all. And now I look back and I look at things and I go, do you know what? Like this, it's kind of real life mirroring, you know, what we've been through in terms of supporting the club, because that was a real low moment that like I had to go through, you had to go through, whatever, where it was like we were having our support of the club called into question because we weren't willing to go to this protest like straight away. And then obviously you look at the state of affairs right now, and I don't think there'll be any protests anytime too soon, do you?
Do you know what as well I'm really glad we stuck to ourselves is we always stuck to what we believed. Do you know what I mean? Like, we weren't coerced into saying something that we didn't actually feel. We didn't go to the pressure of saying, yeah, we need the board to resign and that Todd Bowley's an absolute joke and blah, 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 all of these things. Ultimately, the key thing with us is that we just kept it to ourselves. Do you know what I mean? We literally just said, this is our beliefs. This is what we feel. And if that's against the majority of people, that is what it is. But we're never going to change our own perspective for someone else.
And when you say about belief, sometimes you don't have a belief. Sometimes you haven't drawn a conclusion. I can show you the first episode of every greatest ever TV series ever. And after one episode, you might go, do you know
what the case in point is on this, by the way, is the Pochettino thing? Do you remember when Pochettino was first under pressure? You actually sat on the kickoff table and you went, yeah, I don't mind if he's sacked. I don't mind if he stays. I don't really feel strongly either way. Yeah. You didn't say I want Pochettino sacked immediately. Did you? You didn't say that. So again, there's always nuance in these things, isn't there? But saying this, right, that's a very negative time period. But now, coming into this summer, things are looking so much more positive. And it does really go back to the transfer situation. Because I have to say, look at their recent transfer dealings. Getting rid of Madueke, I think, ultimately will be a good departure, right? Bring in a Delap for £30 million when every other Premier League team wanted him. Man United, Newcastle, Forest, I could go on. Loads of people wanted him, right? 30 million quid for a potential starting England striker in the future. Amazing business. João Pedro comes in off a fucking holiday, looks like a fucking world beater. We didn't even think he was a striker. We didn't even know he was a striker. So they're obviously profiling these players in a way in which they go, yeah, I've seen him play. He can play up top really well and make a difference. So I remember there were times in that period last season where I was saying if I was going to be directing anything towards a protest, it would have been towards the directors of football. But now I look at them and I go, do you know what? Esteval looks unreal. João Pedro looks unreal. Delap, really good start for his career as well. And then you look at the players that they apparently overspent on. Caicedo, Enzo, unbelievable.
Yeah. Do you know and even as well, like, look, I'm sure there'll be examples you can give. And I would personally say that a lot of those came from the transfer dealings when it was sort of Todd Bowley in control of it. You know, he was writing the theme tune, singing the theme tune, everything. Yeah.
Well, to be fair, he was in the circumstance of where he was at the time. We didn't have a director of football. Christopher Vivell fucked up. Don't know what he did, but he just absolutely fucked it. And so Todd Bowley had to assume a role in a short-term period. And what he did, to his credit, because he didn't know football, is he went, I'm going to bring in established quality players. I'm going to bring the best defender in Serie A. I'm going to bring in one of the best wingers in England, who's just come off a really good tournament as well. And you can't begrudge him.
Proven goal scorer
you can't
in the Premier League, in Aubameyang. I don't care how old he was, proven goal scorer. So I understand that, but I do think that we got ourselves into a little bit of a hole financially with some of those signings. But I think we've done a lot of good work since. Yeah. And now we're back in a position where I'm sure we'll still sign some players that we've never heard of. But it's very nice now to be in a position where the names we're being linked with are players, again,
by the way,
that we know.
The players that you've never heard of are Esteval, Santos.
Yeah.
Like, they're players that are now fucking really good.
Yeah.
So I actually sign all of those players you want. Quenda. How many people knew Quenda?
To play devil's advocate, some of those players are also Kasade, Ugachukwu.
Yeah.
There's probably others that I could go on. But,
by the way, they're going to have really good careers elsewhere at a top level league.
Yeah,
aren't they?
They may well do. They're not going to play for Chelsea and whatever.
No.
But there are so many examples. Like most of us hadn't heard of Malo Gusto. I don't know if you had of. I hadn't heard of Malo Gusto.
Not before
signed for us.
He was 19.
Came in and was a Premier League first team starter for us in Reece James's absence. So some really good work done there. But now we're in a market where we are able to attract a higher status of player. And that's why I want to speak about the links to one Rodrigo. Now, Rodrigo, right? He's been linked to many English clubs. He's been linked to Liverpool. Obviously, everyone loves to talk about Chelsea spending. Let's not even bother mentioning Liverpool. They just do what they want this summer. He's been linked to Liverpool, Rodrigo. What do you think of this one? Because obviously, Rodrigo, he's on about 200 grand a week at the moment.
He's on 300 grand a week, Jay.
Oh, is he on 300 grand
He's on 300,000 euros a week, yeah.
Okay.
So he's on a lot of money.
So he's on a lot of money, right? In terms of what he actually contributes, right? He's not like his numbers aren't ridiculous, are they?
I just looked at his goal scoring throughout the season. You probably know this off your top of your head, Joe. So why don't you tell me what's the most goals he's ever scored in a season?
10?
In a La Liga
in the league,
season.
10 or 11.
10 goals.
10. So when he broke into Real Madrid's first team properly, he put up 17 league goal involvements in that 22-23 season. I think it'd been about 21 that time. Following season, 15 goal involvements, 23-24 season. As for the 24-25 season, things have become more difficult for him. Obviously, Mbappe's joined the club. Xabi Alonso probably doesn't see Rodrigo being in his plans at this moment in time. Just straight off the back, what is your initial feeling? Because there's part of you that goes, oh, Galactico-esque signing. Every other club in England would want him. He's chosen Chelsea if we were to sign him. But does it feel like a necessary signing to you?
If I'm going to just cut the shit and be completely honest about this signing, I think this is one to avoid.
Oh, the complete same.
Are you?
Yeah.
Because I feel like if we were going to make this video a little bit more fun, what we would have done is go, he plays for Real Madrid. He's been part of that front three that's looked so good for so long. He's so techie. He's so exciting. He creates goals as well as scores them. And ultimately, he's going to command a Galactico fee because he's a Galactico player, right? If we were going to do the video in that way, it would be a lot more exciting and potentially have a lot more jeopardy. But what I'll say off the back of this is one of those signings that Todd Boehly would have done when he first rocked up at Chelsea. Because it's a Galactico, a guy with a huge reputation, who quite frankly is what we call in the property market, Joey, a distressed sale. A distressed sale is an asset in which is not that good, but therefore you lose money on it, and therefore you have to buy it. That for Real Madrid.
Felix-esque.
Now, I wasn't going to make this comparison because I actually think it's harsh on Rodrigo because of how poor João Felix has been recently. But am
I on the right line?
Yeah, you are. Then? I could see Rodrigo having a career path in a similar vein to a João Felix. And there'll be so many people now commenting and going, Rodrigo is so much better than João Felix. And to those people that are commenting that, give me the data that backs that up.
Okay, so can I just ask you a question? If he's so much better than João Felix, brilliant. Fine. Agreed, probably. Right?
Probably.
Is he a top three winger in the Premier League? Regardless of who he signs for, whether he signs for Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, City, is he a top three winger in the Premier League?
Mo Salah.
Mo Salah?
Number one.
Number one?
By a mile.
Yep.
wouldn't you? You'd say that.
Mo Salah 100% ahead of him.
Saka better than
Saka, would you say Saka is definitely better than Rodrigo?
I would say Saka is
I
better.
personally believe that Saka would have had a season in those sort of like 3 seasons where Rodrigo was getting solid like 30 plus games for Real Madrid in the league. I personally believe that Saka within those seasons would have had a 20 plus goal involvement season, which Rodrigo hasn't done.
Last season he had 12 goal involvements in the league.
There you go.
So, and he played 30 times.
Rodrigo you're talking about.
Yeah, Rodrigo I'm talking about. Yeah. Whereas Saka would have done way more.
Okay, so we're putting Saka
would be better than him. Anyone else in off the top of your head that you think you would include?
Off the top of my head, I think you might laugh at it. Do you want me to be honest?
No, I do.
Anthony Gordon?
Yeah. I could see Anthony Gordon being better than him.
Is that the worst shout in the world? Like, is that a really, really bad shout?
I mean, Liverpool have got an option between Anthony Gordon and Rodrigo. Who do you think they're probably going to pick? They probably will.
Probably pick Anthony Gordon.
They probably would go. They probably would go for Anthony Gordon.
Yeah.
Is there an argument? Maybe this is a mad one then, and people will get angry at me about this. But is there an argument to say that Pedro Neto is on better form currently than Rodrigo is?
Well, he's just won the Club World Cup. He just won the Nations League, and he's just, helped Chelsea to a top 4 finish and won the Conference League. So form, yeah. I suppose there is an argument. There's an argument there. Very, very different players, in my opinion. I do think that, like, if you are a Jamie Gittins, if Chelsea go and bring in Rodrigo, you're just kind of thinking like, oh, fucking hell. Do you know what I mean? But then here's where I'm going to caveat that, right? Because let's say, and by the way, I haven't told you about the swap deal. I read an article this morning, right? I don't know how worthy or how credible it is.
Where was it? What publication was it?
I can't remember. It was on the back of a cigarette packet or something.
Benson and Hedges again.
Yeah. Read an article this morning. It said that Chelsea could offer a swap deal. So apparently we're going to go to Real Madrid. We're going to say to them, no. João Felix and Nkunku going the other way. So it's a 2-for-1.
That is ridiculous.
It's a 2-for-1. João Felix and Nkunku. Now, if you said to me right now,
mate, this is mad what you're about to say.
João Felix and Nkunku, for Rodrigo, do you want to do the swap, right? My initial thing was I'd go, yeah, go on, yeah.
No.
Then I would look at the financial implications of that deal and say, actually, that's fucking mental.
Do you know?
Because you can get so much more. I believe in João Felix and Nkunku. If we're lucky, I think we can raise 100 million in sales between them.
I was going to say 90, but yeah.
90's fair.
I think
100 million euros.
Yeah, 35 and 45. So yeah, that would be 80. Yeah. I could see it happening.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what you'd pay for Rodrigo, maybe. So, and if you got those two's wages off the books in terms of João Felix, and in terms of Nkunku, then you're close to covering Rodrigo's wages. But I don't know. Look, if business goes our way, right, and we get rid of the likes of Sterling, we get rid of the likes of Felix, we get rid of the likes of Nkunku, obviously Madueke's already gone and Mudrik's banned, that leaves us, right, and what I'm doing here is I'm ruling out anyone that can play in the number 9. Doesn't mean that they haven't played in the number 9, like a Pedro Neto who was shoehorned in there due to injuries at the end of last season. But I'm on about everyone in that 3 behind the number 9 if we start with the system that we went with last season, right? That leaves us with Neto, Palmer, Esteval, Tyreek George, and Jamie Gittins, right? That leaves us with 5. Okay, I'm not including João Pedro in that, although I know he can play there. Technically, you could go 6 with that.
I also don't think you should necessarily include Tyreek George because I don't think he'll be at the club.
So, yeah, but there's others there. When you say you don't believe that he'll be at the club, there's others that it leaves us with that I could have included that also won't be at the club.
But that's why I'm not including Tyreek George.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is this, right? You've got 5 players I've named there. We play 3 behind the striker, usually. Yeah? Usually, we're allowed to make 5, but usually we're making 3, sometimes 4 subs per match. I would say usually at least one of them is going to be a winger, but a lot of the time, 2 of them will be the attacking players, yeah? So 3 players, 2 subs, that's 5 right there if no one's injured. So what I'm saying is, if the likes of a Sterling, a Felix, and Nkunku all leave the club, what with Madueke going and Mudryk being banned, I'm saying we need one more in.
The only person that you haven't included in that, which I think is unfair to not include them, because I do think they still will be at the club, is Dewsbury Hall, who has played in all three of those positions.
Yeah.
So I think we should include Dewsbury Hall in that, because I think Dewsbury Hall will be the backup number 10 when Cole Palmer is hooked off.
I'm not sure. We'll come back to that. Because Dewsbury Hall is a player that I believe is going to be offered in certain deals.
Okay.
So I believe that there's a standard of club that we would like to take players from.
Yeah.
That Dewsbury
Hall
walks
would
into.
improve.
He walks into there first.
So the last point that I'll make on the Rodrigo thing before we then talk about some alternative options, because I think it will make sense based on what I say, is Matt Law did an interview yesterday. Our good friend Matt Law, who knows his stuff about Chelsea.
He's probably the most credible journalist when it comes to breaking Chelsea news. Yeah. Yep.
So he said that there is not a situation in which Chelsea would ever be able to afford or offer the wages that Rodrigo is on. And so what I love about this more than anything, mate, is that Chelsea, and I'm sorry to say this because it ruins the allure of a transfer window, but we were never in for Rodrigo. No. We were never even fucking thinking about Rodrigo. Rodrigo is so far out of the signing strategy that we're in that it isn't even a credible option. And the only reason why Chelsea's name is being brought up is agents' reasons. And that's only on Rodrigo's side. It's not because we've leaked any information.
Yeah.
We're not, sorry to say it, we are never going to sign Rodrigo.
But we don't mind. We don't mind if it drives the price up for Liverpool a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
I don't mind.
100%. I don't mind that.
I don't mind that. Right. So should we give you a couple of the names that we are linked with? Let's start off, and I'm talking about the attacking players because there's 3 names, and there obviously is more. Obviously, there's the potential of Chelsea going in and hijacking deals and things like this for certain players that are already negotiating with other clubs. But there's 3 names that we've been linked with that I think that if the 25-26 season started and they were a player at Chelsea Football Club, none of these 3 would surprise me all that
Shall
much.
we do Snog, Marry, Avoid with these players?
Yeah, but I don't like Snog, Marry, Avoid. Shall we do Shoot?
I don't think you can do that one either.
Okay. Push off the edge of a boat.
Okay,
like
push
that.
off the edge of a boat.
Walk the plank. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Walk the plank.
Yeah.
Right. Sign 1 for life and retire his number.
Okay.
And you can sign 1 for a cup final.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah?
I really like that, actually.
Yeah? Okay.
Well done.
Right, okay. Right, the 3 names are Garnacho, Morgan Rogers, and Eze.
Should we talk about them individually before we pronounce what we're going to do with them?
No, we'll talk about their actual proper stuff after. Let's quickly go this, right? So straight away, I'm pushing Garnacho off the plank.
Anything. Yeah, anything.
Due to recent form, I am starting Eze in the cup final.
Yeah.
He just won a cup final.
Yeah,
He scored,
enough.
didn't he? Eze scored in the cup final.
He did, yeah.
Just scored in the cup final. But
and then
due
to
age, I'd probably go Morgan Rogers. Now, let's speak. I'd probably go Morgan Rogers to play for and retire the number of the club.
What number would he even play for?
Morgan Rogers?
Yeah.
God knows.
69.
God knows, yeah. Right, let's speak about Garnacho first. Now,
yeah.
Right. If the announcer at Stamford Bridge, once all 42,500 or whatever are in there. Lee is his name.
Yeah.
Okay. If he got on the thing and said,
really nice guy.
Just quickly before kickoff, guys, quick show of hands. Who wants us to sign Garnacho? Out of those 42,000 odd, yeah, how many hands go up inside Stamford Bridge?
10.
10?
Yeah,
really?
Maybe 11.
You reckon there's 11 Argentinians in Stamford Bridge?
They'll all have the same haircut.
Even Enzo Fernandez would be on the pitch going like...
Yeah, I don't think Enzo Fernandez would put his hand up.
Sort of my country team, mate. But
I think he'd have a few stragglers.
Is Garnacho the one that we're all just like, no?
Well,
and
we said it right, didn't we, when we were on the kickoff? We KG said, "Oh, I heard Chelsea are in for Garnacho. What was can you reenact your reaction?"
No, thanks. I'm all right, thank you. No, all good.
Yeah. Not good.
No, I don't know. Look, like I'm just, right. Garnacho. I'm not saying that I see nothing to suggest that this man is a good player. Right?
Okay.
I'm definitely not saying that.
Okay.
What I am saying is I see nothing to suggest that this man is better than Noni Madueke. Go on then. You just went, argue it.
I'm trying to think of a. I'm trying to think of a reason. I'm trying to think of a reason why he wouldn't.
You can't even argue it. Why? Why is he better than Noni Madueke?
Is he a little bit better at the kind of assists and crossing that Noni Madueke, as a selfish player, wasn't very good at?
From the left-hand side, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is the left-hand side, Joe, is where we're trying to fill a position.
Yep.
So on the left-hand side, Garnacho is better than Noni Madueke.
So is he better than Noni Madueke as a left-hand-sided winger? Potentially. Right? Potentially.
But that's Noni's secondary position.
But we have just brought Jamie Gittins in there.
Yeah.
Right? Now, can Garnacho, can he?
Yeah.
Can he play anywhere across that front line?
Yes. Easily.
He can play centre attack and midfield, can he?
Yeah, easily.
Because he played that for Man United a couple of times
and they
last
didn't
season.
like it, but I think that's a different speciality. And to be fair, mate, that would be like a third choice number 10 for us, wouldn't it? Like he's not. There's going to be a lot of other players that want to take that position. Esteval will want to take that position before him.
Yeah.
You've got João Pedro who could potentially play there as well. Cole Palmer obviously is the number one. You've got other players that can play there. I mean, arguably you've got Enzo, KDH.
Profile wise, do you think that he fits in with our squad more than, let's say, for example, a Morgan Rogers, who we'll speak about in a second?
When you say fit in, do you mean in terms of like mentality, skill, or the entire package?
I think I mean the entire package in terms of like there are players that you can tell get on really, really well and are like cracking joke in training and everything, and you know they're fucking grabbing hold of other players that are starting week in, week out and nugging them, but those players don't even get nowhere near the first team. You know what I mean? Like Bettinelli was one for that. Like Bettinelli would be bantering on the training ground and whatever and terrorising people, but never got a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
So he was backup keeper. So what I'm
saying is
he
going to be able to be a backup that is a cool dude and is happy to be a backup? The answer is no.
That's the what answer, I think.
And actually, the worst part of Garnacho, because I think actually he is a really good player and he's 21. So he's got, ability to grow. The thing with him that I really do worry about is the mentality thing. And we are looking now at cultivating a squad where they are all together, which we've seen bonding really well in the Club World Cup. You see the togetherness there. You see they all get on really well. We've just offloaded a player in Noni Madueke, who I would say would be the only player that I would question their mentality and how selfish they are. And then you're also talking about getting rid of Nicholas Jackson, whose mentality's problem is not necessarily in terms of team cohesion, but more in terms of screw loose getting a red card.
Yeah.
That's so in terms of stripping back the mentality.
Jackson's got good intentions.
Yeah, Jackson also seems to get on with everyone as well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But he has good intentions, but also makes mistakes in games. And also Cole Palmer, quite frankly, has shown how pissed off he has been at Nicholas Jackson in the Club World Cup.
Can we just
quite
quickly,
visibly?
I know we're going off thingy, but that was a big moment.
That was a huge moment in the career of Nicholas Jackson at Chelsea.
Because
Cole Palmer has the power, doesn't he?
Exactly that. One thing that Nicholas Jackson has always had going for him is
Cole Palmer's assists and collaboration with him, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what we have always felt as a fan base is that Cole Palmer plays better when Jackson's there and Jackson plays better when Cole Palmer's there.
Yeah.
For us, we have now had the opportunity to see plan B or the other option, basically. Not the plan B, not Charmaine De La Rosa.
What a lyricist and singer.
Yeah, but you know the song Charmaine
De La Rosa.
I say, is that Spanish? She says, yeah. I say kosher. Whole time I'm imagining what it feel like to dose her. No, that song Charmaine is actually really noncy. You do realise that?
Oh, it's really noncy.
He says, blood, that girl's 14. Way too young.
It's a bit weird, isn't it?
From a Chelsea director's perspective, maybe not too young. Because,
fucking hell.
To bring into the academy, God, you pull your mind out of the gutter. Not on about that stuff. Anyway, Garnacho, young, not bothered, basically, is what I'm saying. Do you know what? Garnacho's a homegrown player, right? He's come through the Man United academy. I'm sure he's had contract upgrades and whatnot, but I reckon he's probably on less than like 120 grand a week or something.
Yeah,
surely.
I think something like that.
Surely,
I think he is.
Yeah? Right? Do you know what you should do?
Go on.
Honestly, as a friend to him,
yeah.
Do you know what I'd say?
Go to Napoli.
Go to Napoli. How did you know I was going to say Napoli?
The problem
has he been linked with Napoli?
That's the only player that's the only team that is really in for him. Yeah. Well, they're now not apparently, but they were in for him.
That shows.
Did you actually not know
shows how bad I am. I didn't even know he'd been linked to Napoli.
Did you actually not?
It might be that Mandela effect. It might be. I've read it somewhere.
You've seen it.
I've seen it. I've not realised it. Whatever. But I was about to say to you. You know, we always do the 3-2-1. I was about to do 3-2-1. Who should he go to? I was going to say Napoli.
Well, I've seen the rumours. You see.
Right. Yeah. Well, I didn't know that.
By the way, I've just seen his wage. Garnacho, guess.
What he's on?
I know exactly what he's on. Guess.
70.
Nope. Less.
50.
50. He's not on a lot of money. Maybe that is why there is a market for him.
I think Madueke was only on 60 though.
Yeah. So Madueke would have gone up a bit because all of the squad got a 20% bump.
Okay.
For getting in Champions League.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay. So let's then move on to Eberechi Eze.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
Because I want to speak about Morgan Rogers last. Now, Eze is a player that my short-term excitement, right, would be highest for. Does that make sense to you?
Do you know what is classic about this is? Because you and I have done these transfer chats now for 3 years, which is scary to say, isn't it? That is terrifying to say. But I feel like what I've seen in what you've gone for in the past is you've liked a player like an Ivan Toney, a Premier League proven player.
Yeah.
Now, Eze is, how old is he? Do you know the answer to this? I do.
Is he 26 or 27?
He's 27.
27.
So, you know, very much outside of the age profile for Chelsea, but very much in the prime of his career, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's got 3 years now where he's going to be immense.
Yeah. However, that is the key point there. He's got 3 years.
Yeah.
Because positionally, and look, you're going to point to, you know, I don't know, Ribery or Messi or people that did it into like past the age of 30, do you know what I mean? From the flanks and whatnot. But positionally, even if he's a cam, to be fair, but positionally, you wouldn't imagine that Eze is still going to be doing what he does now in 5 years. You're thinking you've got 3 years out of Eze, yeah? Fair. Does he get in our starting lineup straight away?
The left-hand side, I feel, and I'd love to know what you think, but I feel is very much up for grabs for anyone. I actually do think, irregardless of these two signings, maybe not for the next one we're going to talk about, but I feel that Pedro Neto will start on the left-hand side next season in our best 11.
Why is that you put Reece James in midfield, yeah?
I think that he won't trust Gittins, sorry, I should say. Because Gittins is just coming in. He hasn't had the Club World Cup. He's a young player. By all accounts, he wasn't playing week in, week out for Borussia Dortmund even. To be
Not
fair.
in the second half of the season, he wasn't, no.
So I actually do think that the player that we're about to sign for this left wing position will be the number one left winger.
Yeah.
And Gittins will end up forming minutes here and there.
So Eberechi Eze would be the number one left
He'd start,
winger
wouldn't he?
if he was signed, right?
Is he a left winger?
Don't really care. So versatile, can play across that front line anyway. I know what you're saying. You want an out and out left winger. That's what you would like, yeah? And that doesn't necessarily mean you want a left footer, a right footer, any style of player, but you'd like someone who, if you say to them, what's your best position, mate?
Yeah.
They go,
like João Pedro
they go, I can play anywhere but left wing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I would like, right?
Agreed.
So, but there isn't that many players that are like that in world football anymore. Everyone's a lot more versatile when you see the amount of, and they have to be because you don't get what you want, right? There's only really in our lifetime a handful of players that get what they want, yeah? And if your name's not Messi or Ronaldo or whoever else, you get what you're given. Yeah. And that is where you'll play. And that's why, especially with young players, you see so much more rotation across that front line. Now, with a £65 million release clause in his contract, Eberechi Eze could be a player that, you know, we might look at and we might go, okay, we'll spend 65 million on it. I find it very unlikely at the age he's at and with the directors we've got. But that doesn't mean that we couldn't get a deal done for him because we've got, would you say, a good relationship with Palace?
Yeah, I think we respect Palace, to be fair, and we have exchanged players a lot. Well, we've got Chilwell.
Let's speak about that exchanging of players.
Go on.
Because I'm going to put it out there straight away, right? I don't think they're going to want Chile back.
We know they've signed a left back.
They've signed a left back.
Apparently.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So they're not going to want Chile back.
That's
right?
done.
So Chilwell's one. I'll tell you who they would want back.
Trev.
Who don't I want to give them?
Trev.
Trev.
Who were the rumours that they were going to give earlier on in the transfer window to Palace? The answer is Josh Champong.
Yes.
Very strong rumours.
Again.
Loan.
Terrific.
Yeah.
I would love for Josh Champong to have a loan there.
I would hate for Josh Champong to have a loan there because I want him in the squad.
Yeah.
I want him playing for Chelsea.
But I was more answering if the question was like, if we're going to sell or if we're going to loan.
I'd
love for him to have a loan.
Of course.
There. But again, right? So then I'll start looking at things and I'll start going down the list and I go, well, I mean, Brower and David Datro Fofana, they're two players that I'm straight away like, we could offer them to Palace.
I feel like
they
Palace
might
see
want
that
them.
they're better than them.
Hey?
I think Palace think they're better than those players. They've also got Mateta up top.
I would say that Palace would rate Mateta as
way
better than both of those
So
players.
they're not going to sign those boys.
They're not going to sign those boys.
So come on then, you've got an answer. Who do you think they're going to want then?
Well, hold on. Should we just go for it? Can I give you 3 more names?
Please.
You can shoot me down if you want. This isn't me saying I think Palace would want all of these, but shoot me down if you want. Chilwell is obviously a no-go.
Chilwell's a no.
Yeah, okay. Axel Disasi?
I could see them going for him.
Good. Because I thought you were going to speak too soon there and go,
no. I could see that being an option. And by all accounts, he's not on a lot of money, Disasi. And also, by all accounts, good guy, good trainer, and kind of fits the profile of what Palace want for their defenders. Fast, strong, mobile.
Now, I really rate this player, right?
He's fine.
And I rate Crystal Palace. And this is why the player I'm about to suggest is someone that I think could do a job for them. But Palace are a little bit stacked in this area, and that's why maybe not.
Yeah.
Ugachukwu? Ugachukwu is good enough to play for Crystal Palace.
He is, but maybe not this season.
Yeah.
I think in the future he could play for them.
Someone came in for Adam Morton. If someone came in for Adam Morton, though,
do you know what?
Ugachukwu could walk straight in there.
Do you know what? He is a bit of a Palace player, isn't he, Ugachukwu?
He's a little bit of a Palace player.
He could do really well for them. I totally see that, but they would want. I think they'd need more of a starting 11 player.
Okay, let me chuck 2 more at you. Okay. And now I'm on about, again, walking into the lineup.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe that Carney Chukwuemeka walks into Crystal Palace's lineup if they get rid of Eze.
Yeah. I could see that as well.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Seems like he's destined for the Bundesliga, but yeah.
Why?
I think what Carney sees is that when players go to Dortmund, their reputations are increased to a level in which the next move would be a more of an elite.
Yeah.
That's harsh on Dortmund because they are an elite club. But I mean, if he wants to get another move after this, he can earn a lot more money and can go to a big club.
City,
yeah.
Bellingham went to Madrid. Yeah, I get you.
A lot of teams use Dortmund in that way, don't they? Yeah. I mean, both of the Bellinghams are going to do that, aren't they? Because Job is now there. So
don't know if Job goes on
to the top
higher than Dortmund.
Do you know what's really funny is a lot of people have said that, mate, but he's looking very good for them. What I've seen him play.
Yeah, I'm probably wrong. But this is what I'm saying, right? So Carney Chukwuemeka, we don't even know Dortmund are in for him. They've just signed Joe Bellingham.
They are.
He's not a like for like, but
they are in for him for certain. But they don't want to pay 40 million euros, which is what we're asking for.
Yeah.
So do you know what I think will happen with Carney is I think he will go back there, but on loan. I think that will
be a weird one.
It will be the last minute. It will be it will be a last minute transfer window.
But that's one.
Who's the other one?
And Carney the other one.
Yeah.
Is Kiernan Dewsbury Hall.
Yeah. I could see him doing so well there.
At Crystal Palace.
I could see him being one of their best players.
And they're the two that I'm like, I said Axel Disasi, I said Ugachukwu, but I'm being, if I'm saying that we were to take Eze off of them and we were to pay under that £65 million release clause, then they're the two.
Do you think we are going to get rid of Dewsbury Hall?
No.
Yeah, I don't think we will either.
No.
I don't think we will.
No.
I think what Dewsbury Hall has done in the Club World Cup and shown his versatility in playing, basically, what I think Dewsbury Hall will be used as next season is a right winger or a centre mid when we need to close a game out. And what I mean by that is he'll take Cole Palmer off, Dewsbury Hall comes on, he either fits in on the right-hand side or he fits in as the number 10. And really what we're talking about is he becomes an 8. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's one of those situations where it's like, it's like being an employer and having a staff member, yeah? you grow to really like that staff member. And that staff member, could go on and probably work for another company and earn a little bit more money or get better opportunities and stuff like that. And it's like you want that for them because you really like that staff member. But then you remember they work for your company and you don't want to cut your nose to spite your face. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's one of them ones of Dewsbury Hall where, like, realistically, I think he could go and play for a Crystal Palace or say, for example, now, right, they've lost Morgan Gibbs-White.
Yeah.
Probably have lost Morgan Gibbs-White. I believe that he could go and play for Nottingham Forest or someone like that, for example, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying with Keane and Dewsbury Hall. Obviously, Forest would be a bit techie for him being a Leicester lad. Like, I
don't know if he would do that.
Yeah, I doubt that would happen. But that's what I'm saying. I'm saying a Crystal Palace as well. He could go and play at a higher level, right? I would kind of want him because I know that he doesn't kick up a fuss. He's a good player to be able to come in off the bench, and he's kind of gaining experience, getting better at Chelsea Football Club, and therefore I don't believe that we sign Eze this summer. So we've ruled out Garnacho and we've ruled out Eze.
So if we don't go in for Eze, where is he going to end up quickly?
Eze?
Yeah. Because he's not going to go to Spurs, is he?
An initial thing, mate, when Spurs were linked with him, I was a bit like, fucking hell, man.
Yeah, but I feel that way a little bit about Gibbs-White because I think Gibbs-White's going to be a really good player.
Gibbs-White, Kudus.
They've done some smart business.
Thomas Frank in there.
They've done some smart business. They are going to finish way higher than Man United this season.
Yeah.
So if Eze doesn't go there, would Man United do a last-minute bid for Eze?
The Man United finish above Palace next season?
I don't think it's about that, though, because he could be earning double what he's on now. He's on 100 grand.
Yeah, and kids grow up dreaming of playing at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So Man United is a credible option. Is there anyone else that would come in for him at the top level? I can't see any other team.
Clubs from other leagues.
Yeah. But maybe there's a situation. The reason why I say this is maybe there's a situation in which he stays at Palace. Maybe.
If I'm Eze, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to get that contract now. He has to.
He has to. This summer now is his last chance to get that deal.
But I'm kind of wishing I was 25.
Yeah.
Because I'm wishing I could do one more season and have European football.
True.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So there you go. It moves us on to Morgan Rogers, right? Breakout season last campaign, by the way. Now, even the campaign before, when I saw Morgan Rogers play, I said, that boy has got something, right? 100%. I do say that about 90% of the players that I see play, especially when they're young. So either way, it's not a claim to fame. However, last season, 18 goal involvements, right? He can play across the entire front line.
I've got 19 here, by the way. So
19 was it? Okay. As well, tell me if I'm wrong here. Was Morgan Rogers Man City Academy?
Yes.
He was, wasn't he?
Not only was he Man City Academy, but he played in the FA Cup winning team, which was the first team, FA Youth Cup, which was the first team to beat Chelsea after our sort of like 3 or 4 year run. In that team, there was also Cole Palmer as well. I think there was also another player who slips my mind.
Just quickly. Did Cole Palmer
maybe Gittins
play with like in the same starting lineup as
all the time?
Morgan Rogers.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Famously, Morgan Rogers said he came up with the chili celebration.
Really?
Famously.
Now, Morgan Rogers, to me, and this is a really it's just a throwing it out there statement, he does seem very Chelsea.
Why do you say that?
I don't know.
Can you not put your finger on it? I can put my finger on it. Joe Shields, Cole Palmer.
Joe Shields, ex-Man City Academy, Cole Palmer, probably gets on with all the boys. Yeah. I think he'd like to live in London as well.
Apparently, he's very good mates with Cole Palmer.
Really?
Yeah. Very good mates with him. Can you imagine the link up between those two?
You know what it is, though?
This is just destined to happen, Joe.
Agent Cole, I don't rate as highly as Agent Obi. I mean, Agent Obi never got the job done.
Can I also just say,
in terms of
Agent Obi's just fucked up Osserman. So
that's what I'm saying. He never got the job done. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, if John Obi Mikel calls you, I've never spoke to Cole Palmer, but I've been lucky enough to quickly speak to John Obi Mikel. If John Obi Mikel calls you up, he's going to really try and convince you. Cole Palmer, if you go, no, I don't fancy you, go, all right.
I think that's a load of bollocks, by the way. I think Cole Palmer is trying to bring the band back together. And I think he's doing a pretty good job of it, to be honest with you. Yeah. Let's be honest, right? With all of the connections, you've got Lavia, Gittins, Cole Palmer. You've got Tosin, you've got so many connections between that Man City academy now, and so many reasons that they'd want to all play together. This, for me, is a transfer that's written in the stars and is destined to happen for various reasons. Now, can I explain why I also think it will happen?
Yeah.
I know for certain that Aston Villa are in a fucking huge hole.
Well, this is what I was going to say, right? You look around. Newcastle, what are they doing?
Signing big players.
They're doing business.
Yeah.
Spurs?
Doing big business.
Liverpool?
A huge business.
Arsenal?
It's finally getting there, but yeah.
Business.
Doing business.
City?
They've already done all of their business, which has been immense.
Yeah. Villa?
Who have they signed? They've signed a backup goalkeeper.
Tell me.
They've signed a backup goalkeeper.
Uh-huh. Will he be a backup goalkeeper?
Very true. I think with the level of his quality, you hope that he is going to be a
when
backup
you look
goalkeeper.
around at the clubs that are doing business and not doing business, Villa don't even look like they're trying to do much business to me. Because you can look at Man United and you can go, I know they got Cunha over the line, but you can go, you're trying to do business. We can all see you're trying to do business. You're not doing a very good job at it, but you're trying to do business. Doesn't even look like Villa are trying to do it. And that says to me, are they in a bad PSR situation?
I mean, I'm looking at their transfers now. They've signed 3 players. Yasin Ozkan from Campasa, Zakidio Redmond from Feyenoord on a free, and Marco Bizot from Brest. Your favourite football team?
Yeah, I do like Brest. Look,
they're in trouble.
They could all end up being good players. Can
I also say
they're not?
The end of the season in the Premier League shaped the transfer window that's about to happen, isn't it? Chelsea got the Champions League, and therefore we got the Champions League money, and we are therefore able to spend, let alone the Club World Cup. Right? Forest didn't get the Champions League, and therefore they're having to sell to be able to afford stuff. By the way, by all accounts, Forest needed to sell, otherwise they would have been handed a penalty if they didn't sell. Villa were already spending 98% of their income on wages. That's terrifying.
Yeah,
that's inoperable. You can't keep that up. They haven't signed Rashford. They haven't signed Asensio, even though they probably wanted both of those players.
Yeah, but
because they couldn't.
Yeah, but Asensio.
What?
That's the one.
What? That's the one that they shouldn't have done.
That's the bigger miss.
Yeah,
than Rashford for me.
Well, you say that, but he's about to go to Turkey, so I don't know how good he actually is. Asensio, he's going to Besiktas.
Doesn't mean all that much.
No, but
doesn't mean all that much.
Well,
would you say Rashford made more of an impact on that loan than Asensio?
I think a lot of Villa fans would say so. Yeah,
I think most people would disagree with that.
Yeah, I think a lot of Villa fans really liked Rashford. But what I'm trying to say is Villa are in trouble, but they will need a striker because there's potential that Watkins goes as well. Our friend Matt Law said the same thing.
I know a striker.
Yep.
Who I would possibly be willing to part ways with if you were to give us Morgan Rogers.
Obviously, Dacho Fofana.
Yeah. Jackson would start for Villa, wouldn't he?
Nicholas Jackson would immediately displace Watkins. And that's crazy to say. But I don't think Emery fancies Watkins too much. I don't think he likes him.
I think he would have been willing to let Watkins go to Arsenal.
I think he would have.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a chance that Watkins does go?
Not sure. But do you know what now I'm thinking of? Has Nicholas Jackson ever played for Unai Emery?
Yes, at Villarreal.
Yeah.
No. Not only did he play for Emery, Emery was the one that gave him his chance. And not only was Emery the one that gave him his chance, Emery was the one that transitioned him from being a winger to a striker.
We've worked it out, haven't we? We're getting Morgan Rogers, and Nicholas Jackson's going to go the other way.
Can I just say, I feel that this was destined from the start of the window.
Really?
I feel this was always going to happen. To be honest with you, the way that Rogers fits in at Chelsea and the way that other deal fits in at Villa, I think is the best for everyone. Really, they're going to be missing out on a huge player though, and we're going to have to pay over the odds on it. By the way, we're going to have to pay. I think before you do, I think we're going to have to pay 80 odd million for Rogers. And then they're only going to pay about 50 odd for Jackson.
It's fine.
Would you do that deal?
What, 30 million? Basically
30 million difference.
30 million net in their favour.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd do that deal. Because, all right, Nicholas Jackson's, 22, 23. Morgan Rogers is about, 21?
Yeah. I think he might
younger?
be. I think No. I think he might be similar age.
Okay. Well, regardless, Nicholas Jackson is a player that I think has a really, really high ceiling.
He's 22.
22, Morgan Rogers, right? So a little bit younger than Nicholas Jackson. Nicholas Jackson's a player that I think has a really, really high ceiling. He's a player that I think is underrated by many, and I think he's a player that will go on and will definitely become a more clinical striker as things go on. And for the first time, right, when we sold Madueke to Arsenal, I said it, and I did say, I mean no disrespect by this, but what did I say? I didn't really feel like we were strengthening Arsenal.
Yes, I don't think so either.
Do you think we'd be strengthening Aston Villa if we would sell Jackson to them?
I feel that he's, personally, and I might be biased, and also he was shit last season, but I feel he is better than Watkins.
Yeah.
But I've never been a Watkins fan.
So if we were just to sell Jackson to Villa, I think we'd be strengthening them.
Yes.
Personally. However, saying that, at the same time, it would probably come as a result of them losing Morgan Rogers and it'd level out. So
is Morgan Rogers their best player?
Villa's best player?
Yeah.
No, I think that's unfair.
Who?
To say he's Villa's best player.
Who's better?
No, go on then, yeah.
Who's better? Martinez,
well,
maybe?
No, I'm about to name
Martinez?
you. I'm about to start chucking the Martinezes, and I was about to start chucking some names at you, and I'm like, well, if we said this 2 seasons ago, then yeah, but now, no.
And also, Martinez, he might
John
be
McGinn,
leaving.
For example. I mean, one player.
McGinn?
One player. No. I'm not saying he's better. I'm not saying he's better. I'm saying 2 seasons ago, I could have chucked that name at you, and that could have had a bit of weight to it, yeah? Right? One player who everyone thought was completely done, but has actually done really, really well is Tielemans.
Tielemans is a great player.
I'm not saying he's
Don't think
necessarily
he's better,
but yeah, I understand what you're saying. He's probably their best. Regardless of who their best player is, he's their best asset.
The thing with them is they need to raise transfer funds so they can then go and spend and also reduce the wage bill. Now, Morgan Rogers isn't on a lot of money. He's on 75 grand a week. So he's not on a huge amount of money, but that's good for us. But also they need to, if they get 80 million in, they can then go and strip out the rest of the wage bill, recruit some other players, and then go and do some business. Without that, they're going to really struggle. Watkins, by the way, 31 years old. So it's not like he's going to command a fucking £100 million transfer fee. He's 31. Who's going to buy Watkins?
Yeah.
So in terms of sellable assets, for me, if you're looking at their team, Tielemans could be one. Don't think they'll sell him because, quite frankly, he's the heartbeat of the team.
He's not really a sellable asset, though, anyway.
Well...
Past 30, isn't he?
No, Tielemans is way younger than that.
Is he?
25, 26, I'd guess. So for me, Rodgers is the only one. And what will happen is late in the window, Villa will have to do something. And I actually think, weirdly, it might happen sooner than we think. How old is he? Go on.
Who
are you
Tielemans. Oh, 28. But
20. Okay, there you go. Fair enough.
Somewhere
He's older than I thought.
Somewhere in the middle. John McGinn's 30.
Yeah.
I didn't realise that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Their squad is older than you'd think.
Yeah, they're going to need to sell. They're going to need to sell.
Mings.
My guess is that we take someone off Villa this summer. Could be Emi Martinez. Could be another. Now, Petrovic is gone, right?
Yeah.
25 million. He's gone to Bournemouth. Bournemouth have absolutely had it off when it comes to Chelsea goalkeepers over the last few years because they had Kepa, who went in there, done a really good job for them. And now they have took Petrovic. I honestly believe that Petrovic is a huge upgrade for Bournemouth on Kepa. So well done to them. I honestly believe that 25 million is too little amount of money for Petrovic. We're talking about top 2 goalkeepers in Ligue 1 last season. You're putting him in there. But at the same time, it does mean that in a summer where Bettinelli has left, in a summer where obviously now Petrovic has left, and in a summer where I believe one of Slanina or the young kid Penders,
by the way, almost confirmed to Strasbourg lane.
There you go.
So it's basically done.
There you go. So what I'm saying is I think then you look at it and you go, is Slanina going to be number 3 or is actually Jorgensen or Sanchez or someone like that and we're going to bring a goalkeeper in?
Well,
going to happen?
Well, put it this way. Sanchez isn't now going to go and want to be week in, week out a number 2. So even if we bring a goalkeeper in, I don't think that means that Sanchez is just going to sit on the sidelines. In fact, I think that is, if we do bring a goalkeeper in, I think the most logical solution is that Sanchez is sold and Jorgensen maintains the number 2. I think, by all accounts, Jorgensen is quite happy.
Sanchez, how old?
26.
27 years old.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
For me, if you sign him, there's a chance you're signing someone that's going to be able to play for your club for the best part of a decade. Best part of a decade.
If you sign Sanchez, yes.
If you sign Sanchez and he's a success at your club, he can play for you for the best part of a decade.
Yeah.
Right? Of recent performances, not just the Club World Cup, I am saying from February onwards, I haven't seen him have a bad game. Maybe from January onwards, I haven't seen Sanchez have a bad game. So there could be a market for him.
Well, with what you just said, bearing in mind you just said that he's had a very good last 6 months or so. Question back to you then: would you keep him? Like what? Like, let's be honest, right? We've got to sign a winger, haven't we?
Yep.
We've still got to do business there. We've then got to do a lot of business in terms of selling other players. So do you think that will be the last agenda point, which might then slip into another transfer window?
I don't think it should be.
But do you think it will be?
Could be, but I don't think it should be.
Oh, explain why.
I think it will be from the briefings that we're hearing coming out of the club in terms of priorities where they need to address. But I think that sometimes you need to leave things on a positive note almost. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like brilliant. Like that I feel a little bit, and it sounds hugely disrespectful to say this. I don't want to disrespect any player of ours coming off the back of the, in my opinion, heroics that we've done this season, winning the Club World Cup, because I think that everyone deserves such credit. And I stated that if we were to win that competition, Robert Sanchez would have to have the game of his life in the final, and he did that. I don't care whether some people say, oh, in the 93rd minute, he misplaced the pass. We were 3-0 up, the game was done, right? He had a fucking good game. However, the man stood furthest away from him, but still playing on that pitch, is a man named Donnarumma. And there are rumours about Donnarumma to Chelsea, right? Fuck the wages, fuck the fee. You're telling me you'd rather Sanchez over Donnarumma, are you?
Who had a better game in the Club World Cup final? Joey, who had a better game? Just answer the question.
Robert Sanchez had a better game.
Thank you.
But Donnarumma's the man, isn't he?
Arguably the best goalkeeper in the world, you would say. Neuer, still up there?
No.
He's lost it, has he?
Neuer's
Who's a better goalkeeper then? Alisson? Edison? It's not to Stegen. It's not to Stegen, is it?
Not right.
Courtois. Definitely. No, come on. Courtois is immense.
Are you just saying that because he's ex-Chelsea?
No, I think Real Madrid fans love Courtois.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
And also, whenever I've seen him in the Champions League, he looks
PSG
fantastic.
fans love Donnarumma.
Yeah. Courtois is better than Donnarumma.
I don't know.
That's mad. But fair enough. What we're saying is he's a very good goalkeeper. Does that mean that we're going to sign him, Joe?
Courtois, listen, we don't know how Donnarumma feels about Chelsea. Probably not the happiest about Chelsea at this minute in time. But we know that Courtois doesn't really like Chelsea.
By the way, we literally just had a fight with Donnarumma on the pitch.
Yeah, I know.
Haven't we?
Yeah.
We literally knocked someone's park out nearly.
What happens when you have a fight with someone?
Kiss and make up.
You immediately like them.
Oh,
newfound respect.
Is that the way it works, Joey?
That's what I always
Is that just in your words?
Mike Mannion, Donnarumma, Jan Sommer, who's actually 36 years old.
I think he's 37.
37. I didn't realise that. Did you realise that?
I did a tweet the other day saying he was my number one pick and someone pointed it out and I was very surprised. But saying that, I still really rate Jan Sommer. And also, we signed... How old was Thiago Silva when we signed him?
37.
Can I explain my reasoning why the 37-year-old Jan Sommer is the best pick? Because in 2 years' time, you're going to want to be playing Penders anyway. So... It's actually good that he's old.
It's a big if.
Bookmark this right now.
Yeah.
Penders in 2 seasons' time will start for Chelsea in goal and will be our number one goalkeeper. 100%.
Off the back of?
Mate, have you seen him? He's a fucking unit.
Yep.
He's played incredibly well in Belgium. He's going to have a Petrovic season now in France.
Okay, so that means he'll probably be playing for fucking Sunderland next season or someone.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean? Like,
I think Penders is a different level.
I'd like it. I'd love it to be the case. And if that was the case, do you know what I think the board would do?
Sell him.
I just think they'd stick rather than twist in terms of in that position in the market this summer.
Oh, they say
keep
Sanchez.
think Penders is ready in 2 years' time, I think they keep Robert Sanchez at 27 years old.
But this is even more reason then why I think it won't happen. This is my general thought is now they saw an opportunity with Mannion. They said if you can get him in by the start of the Club World Cup, we'll do the deal. If you can't, then go and fuck yourselves. And I think Milan are not in our good books in terms of negotiation.
No.
They've fucked it with João Felix, and now his value is incredibly low. They've given us fucking pennies for starting level talent in Petrovic, Loftus-Cheek, Tammy. Like, you could go on, couldn't you? Like, they've had all of our fucking players, Tomori, right? They give us, the highest the highest fee that they ever gave us was Tomori. Did you know that?
No.
30-odd million quid.
I didn't know that, no.
That was the biggest...
I would have thought they'd give us more for... Oh, wait, where did Tammy... Tammy didn't go straight
Tammy didn't go straight there. But obviously, I'm saying he's a Chelsea player that's gone there. But Pulisic, you would say, would be more. Loftus-Cheek, you'd say, would be more.
Injury record. I can see why. See why Tamori was when he was young.
Yeah, fair enough. But basically, I don't think we're in a good negotiation position with Milan. I don't think it's happy on either side.
Can I just ask you one question? I want to cap it off with this.
Come.
Do you believe that we can challenge next season on all fronts without signing a new goalkeeper?
Do you know what? The cynical element of me would go no, because of what Sanchez has done and the way that he gets pressed in the Premier League is very different from like a international tournament.
Yeah.
But I'm also of the belief that if a player proves himself on the pitch and actually doesn't make errors and actually makes saves in the way that Sanchez has done, I'm kind of the opinion now that he's kind of earned his place.
Yeah.
And in terms of the pecking order, what I was saying earlier on in terms of like all the other areas that I would try and strengthen in first, I would be trying to strengthen in the left wing area as the priority. And then the second priority would be offloading all the players that we now don't want.
Yeah.
And then I would do
that's kind of a different task. Area-wise, you're going left wing,
left back, and then goalkeeper.
Goalkeeper third.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going left wing, then goalkeeper.
Fair enough. I feel like we need
to be honest, I might go goalkeeper over left wing. If it was like, if you went to me left wing and the option was, I don't know, so maybe not Morgan Rogers, but I mean, if you say Eze or Donnarumma right now, I'm saying Donnarumma. If
you do prioritise the goalkeeper, first of all, Donnarumma is never going to get signed. Sorry to
no, I know wages, etc.
Yeah. But if you say, for example, let's get a goalkeeper, that may mean that Christopher Nkunku plays as the left winger. How do you feel about that?
Not sure.
Would you be angry about that?
No.
I've got a question for you. I've got a question for you. Who would you least rather see start for Chelsea next season? Sanchez or Nkunku on the left wing? Least rather.
I'd rather Sanchez starts than Nkunku.
I think that's the exact decision they're making right now.
Yep. Could be. Listen, we will obviously be covering all of the transfer news as and when it drops, but that is our deeper dive into what needs to happen this transfer window for Chelsea Football Club. Obviously, a lot has already happened, to be honest. But either way, let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and let us know what you want to see covered off of the channel. We will see you all in the next one.